everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. This morning, it is currently just before 8 AM on Saturday morning, and I'm about to go out for a dog run. And this week I have done 27 kilometers and I'm about to go and do another 11 or 12 or something like that. So this is part of training for my next race. The dog part of it is to confuse you. It's a red herring. I'm not doing a race with the dog, but she does need exercising. She's just gone absolutely mad at a squirrel outside. So I'm about to head out. I thought I'd walk you through the kit that I wear because a lot of you guys do run with your dogs as well. And sometimes it's useful to have personal recommendations on these sorts of things. So since I don't talk about it very often, I'm going to talk about it on this vlog. I wear a Canicross belt, and what this does is it means that Tia can pull me along as I run, which sounds really nice, and when it works it feels like you have the wind at your back, you know, like a really strong tailwind. That's how it's like. At its worst, you get absolutely yeeted along down a very muddy hill and struggle with brakes. So, you know, pros and cons. Or even worse, she pulls backwards and I end up having to pull her up a hill. But you know, I guess it's only fair that we take it in turns. This is much better than using something just around your waist because it doesn't pull over your torso. So it like pulls you from your hips rather than hurting your back by pulling over, if that kind of makes sense. Other equipment. I'm currently wearing my North Face pack. This is one of my favorite packs. I think it's really good and goes nice and small for us women, because I do sometimes struggle with a lot of packs being unisex, i.e. made for men, and then not being quite small enough for me. So that's that. And then once we're ready to go, I'm gonna put this on Tia. This is her Canicross harness. This is the free motion harness from Non-Stop Dogwear and the bungee lead. There are lots of different types. I actually don't think they do this bungee lead anymore, but they've got loads of different types of bungee lead. And the reason I'm mentioning all of this is because every time I run with Tia, everyone asks me where I get all my stuff from. So I thought I'd just cover it quickly before the rest of the vlog. I've just set off and it is the most beautiful day today. I'm so happy to be out. Tia is so happy to be out today. She's not done on the lead Canicross running for a while, so I think it's going to really tire her out. But we've been doing a lot more recently, now that I'm back to running trails, and she is loving it. And I promised last time that I would tell you why I'm running trails, and I will tell you in a little bit. Isn't this beautiful? So happy I came out this morning. All right, we're 4.5K in. I think of this as like Tia's gym session because she's having to pull me and she's just stopped. She's just given up on pulling me because she's not used to the extra weight of having a heavy woman dragging along behind her. But yeah, I did promise that I would tell you what race I'm going to do. So without further ado, I will be running the Arc of Attrition 25, which is 40 kilometers, 25 miles along the Cornish coast path. And I'm so excited to do it. It's at the end of January and I've been wanting to do this race for ages, but previously they only offered 50 miles and up, and I'm very excited to be able to do something that's not 50 miles long. So I'm back training for that, and obviously it means I'm back to the trails, which I'm loving. Yay! Fun! Yay! So I'm
currently at the end of week 3 of my training plan, and it's going really well so far. The mileage is already about what I was doing for Chicago, so kind of around the 40k per week. But yeah, I would expect nothing less for a 40k trail race. It's just got fewer speed sessions and more just sort of like time on feet at the weekends. Obviously I'm using Runner to train for it, like I have been for all of my races, and I'm quite intrigued to see how the trail stuff differs from the road stuff, because I don't think a lot of people know that they have trail plans. But so far this one looks really good, and most importantly I'm actually enjoying the training, and it means I can go out for things like this without going out for a long weekend run and having to stick to like particular paces, which is, you know, impossible when you're doing a dog run. And as always, if you want to check out Runner, if you're a trail runner and you're like, hey, I didn't know that they did trail plans, you can use the code Flora and you can set up an account for free and do like 2 weeks of training completely free to kind of test it out. I think that's really good, because I think it takes a lot to trust a coach or a training program or anything like that. You want to know that it's legit. So if you want to test it out, you can absolutely do that. But so far I'm loving it. I'm really running out of breath because I'm going up a long hill. And a half K in, heading on our way back now, and I've been having so much fun. It's been very stop-starty, but that's exactly what I want from a dog run, because when she runs fast, she runs really, really fast. It's like intervals, but also good for time on feet, which, as I said, is the name of the game at the moment.
Get all that mud off. Alright, so I'm back from the run. I have showered, the dog has eaten. I have not yet eaten, that is the next priority. We did 11 kilometres in the end along a place called Stanton Drew near Pensford, if any of you are based in Bristol or around Bristol and would like to go and do that again, because it was stunning, absolutely beautiful, and such a gorgeous morning for it as well. I wanted to quickly talk through my training for this race, because it's very different to my marathon training, and obviously with the race being 40 kilometers and a marathon obviously being 42 kilometers, the distance is not necessarily the problem. The race itself is so fundamentally different to a road marathon that obviously the training has to be quite different as well, so that I am sufficiently trained for the race itself. So in this training block, I am focusing on my ability to run hills and spend a lot of time on my feet. Those two things are quite different to marathon training, because like I said earlier, in marathon training, a lot of the emphasis, certainly once you know that you can do the distance, is on speed and doing your marathon pace for a certain amount of time and kind of getting used to running for 4 hours or whatever, 3:30, whatever it is. Whereas for ultramarathons, and I considered this training quite significantly closer to ultramarathon training than road marathon training. For that, you're focusing a lot more on your ability to sort of like continue at some pace, but that might be a lot of walking as well, which is why going and doing dog runs is such a good thing for this, because it is a lot of stoppy-starty. You know, there are about 5 billion gates along the way. There's a lot of mud, there's a lot of chaos, which is kind of how it is going to be during the race itself. And I know a lot of road runners get quite frustrated, I think, when you're used to running at X pace for X distance, and if you have to stop-start a lot, it gets quite frustrating. Whereas I think that is where my area of preference, if not expertise, is. So the training program is 14 weeks long, and within that time I'm building up from a base of like 35 kilometers a week to peak week, which is 55 kilometers, which is not a massive amount of distance per week for peak week of a training program, but because I have come off the back of nearly 3 years of being ill, I didn't want to push myself too much. And the great thing with the running training program as well is that you can change your training preferences races to be high mileage, lower mileage, progress really quickly or progress slower. And for all of those things, I put it at the lowest and easiest spaces for all of them. So within that easier scheduling, I do about one hard session a week, and you can get it up to 2 or sometimes even more, like with progressive runs at the weekends and stuff, but I've set it as easy as possible, so it's either going to be one hard session a week or none, and for me that is kind of where I want it to be at the moment, because I don't want to over egg it, and I would always rather start a race 10% undertrained than 10% overtrained, because if you're 10% overtrained, it doesn't matter how fit you are, you're not going to be able to capitalize on that fitness and perform to your maximum ability. And that is a mistake that I have made before, so I'm quite keen not to make that same mistake again. So I've got 4 runs per week and 1 or 2 gym sessions scheduled in per week. I have done 3 weeks of this training block so far and failed to do a single gym session, which is not something I'm proud of. I am really out of the routine of going to the gym, and I tend to do double days. So what I'll do is I'll do an easy run down to the gym, then do a half hour 45-minute gym session, and then run back home. And that is, you know, I might get in 7 kilometers of running or something, but I also get in a gym session and it doesn't take a stupid amount of time. So I really like doing that, but I've completely got out of the habit of that, because when I had EBV, when I was struggling with fatigue, I really had to do the bare minimum just to get me to the start line, and that sort of extra little bits of training just went completely out the window. So I'm really excited to have them back in the plan, and I really like that with Runner you can add strength training in, or yoga or mobility sessions, or whatever it is that you need to do to make your training work for you. And then I do a lot of shifting around of sessions as well. So when my schedule is a little bit crazy, which it is quite a lot, and I spend a lot of time, you know, going back and forth between Bristol and London, I have to shift around sessions, because on the days that I travel to London and back, there's just no way that I'm going to be able to get a run in and still have the energy to do whatever it is that I need to do in London. So it's a really good variable plan that is very adjustable to me, which is really nice. I'm quite excited with it, actually. I did my first hill sprint session. There is a vlog on here, I think, where I do a hill sprint session and say that I feel okay. The hill sprint session that I did before that, I had such bad heart palpitations on it that I genuinely thought I was going to faint. So I stopped it, and then I did that session and I felt okay. That was the last ever hill sprint session that I have done. I think that was probably about 2 years ago, maybe more. Yeah, maybe 2.5 years ago. I haven't done it since then because I've been so scared of having the same symptoms that I had when I first got ill. But I did one last week and it went really well. It's interesting doing hill sprints in the same place. I don't know if you guys get this as well, where you run a regular route, and if you haven't done it for a while and you go back and do it, it's quite easy to tell whether you've gained or lost fitness, because you either get slightly further in the same amount of time, or you find it easier, or you do it faster, whatever it is. With the hill sprints, I do 60 seconds of hill sprints, or 45 or whatever, and I know exactly how far I usually get within that time, and I was not getting to the same place that I used to get to when I did hill sprints more regularly. So it's an interesting comparison and a bit of a kick up the butt as well, because I am not hill fit, I am not trail fit, I am not ready for this race right now. So that is the point in this program. So 10 weeks of training, we'll see how it goes. I am really excited for this race. I have been wanting to get back to trails for ages, and I find it just lets my brain relax in a way that road running doesn't. So I'm really happy to be back to running on the trails, and I think Tia's very happy about it as well, even if now she's just gone to go and sulk and sleep somewhere else. I think she's exhausted. But yeah, that's my training program. I am really enjoying it so far. I feel capable for the first time in about 2.5, nearly 3 years now, which is really such a good feeling. If you've ever had a chronic issue or an injury that just won't go away, you know how it is. It's the best feeling in the world, with a slight side of anxiety that something will come back and bite you in the bum, but fingers crossed. And I can't wait to share all of this training with you. If you have any questions about the training or runner or the race itself or routes around Bristol or anything like that, dog running, put them down in the comments below and I will do my best to answer. I also have, I think, a discount code for Non-Stop Dogwear from when I first got their stuff a few years ago. So if you are looking to get dog running kit, they're an international company. So I'll put that in the description box as well. And that is it. If you enjoyed this video, please do give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button. I'm about to go and get some food because I'm starving and I didn't eat anything more than a banana before going out. So food is priority right now. But thank you for watching this video and I can't wait to bring you along to the next one. All right, bye.